sending up smoke signals. It's all good. Okay, fantastic. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to day 2. Oh, I'm sorry, Tobias, are we live? Thank you. My apologies. My apologies, Klaus. English TV is helping us film all of our panels and events and interviews. They are being broadcast live right now over Facebook and YouTube. Instantaneously available on demand on YouTube about 5 minutes, you said, Tobias, after they're over. In a Print 18 playlist. If you missed anything or you want to remember what someone on this panel said, you could just access it very easily after the show, share it with your friends, tell them what they missed, and you know, make a case to your company even why you should bring more people next year. There's a lot of interesting information being shared here, and certainly if you walk around the show, there's a lot of people doing a lot of awesome things, and everybody should be here. It's a print party, people. It's a print party. Title of this panel, listen carefully so I don't get in trouble. Sheet happens. Paper, primer, print, oh my. Trina, just in case you didn't know the panel that you were sitting on, that's the name. No problem. That's why companies who have deep benches of really good people, I don't ask for names anymore. I'm just put a logo up. I'm like, anybody in the alliance who sends somebody over can handle this. So thank you for being a trooper, because you don't do this anymore, right? You don't sit on panels, do you? You still sit on panels? And you don't sit on my panels? You should have said you don't, because now I feel insulted. Okay. The theme of this event is, you know, grow your business. And paper, I mean, substrates, however you want, media, whatever you want to call it. And John, again, you know, I know how you relate to this, of course, but certainly an extremely topical subject because of the fact that there's a paper shortage, that's one thing, and also because so many of the accessibility points to vertical markets can really be reached through changing a substrate. You don't even have to change a press. You can change what goes into it and completely transform or change or add to your business. It's almost the low-hanging fruit of what can I do with this press? How can I attract other customers or my same customers to do more with a new substrate? It is, and by the way, print customers love substrates. We love touching stuff. All the research, Daniel Dejan was just walking by, all the research that is out in the industry is that people are attracted to the tactile nature of print. It's something in your brain that you need to touch things, and it creates a deeper understanding of what you're looking at. It's a brain thing. I guess over time we've trained our brains that way, and that's how they operate. So paper is super important, and that's what this conversation is going to be about. So let's start off really in a big level. Ashley, who are you, what do you do, and how does Domtar help print businesses grow, consult with customers, things of that nature?
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the brand marketing manager at Domtar. I manage the Cougar, Lynx, and Inkjet brands. And Domtar does a variety of things to help the print industry and printers grow. We, of course, offer a wide variety of paper that people can depend on, but we also provide quite a few resources, including our Blue Line magazine. We have a fantastic social media presence, and just try to provide people a lot of resources on how to better build value with your company and, you know, what your customers want to hear, and really just how to build that better connection with your customer.
Thanks so much. Lucia.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Lucy Perez Sierra, and I am the Senior Marketing Specialist at Canon Solutions America focused on media. And so a big part of my mantra has really been around how we can leverage media and a variety of substrates to really grow and leverage the investments that you've made in your technology, whether that's toner or inkjet technology, although I am partial to inkjet. But the big thing that we do at Canon Solutions America is to look at a variety of different application sets, and we really work, we have a strong media partner program that we work very collaboratively with all the paper mills and paper merchants to identify papers, whether they be inkjet treated, untreated, coated, as well as specialty media, to really identify what are the right sheets for the specific target applications, and then showcase and develop examples of those applications on our variety of our presses, whether it's our sheet fed press with our VariPrint I-Series or our latest and greatest addition to our inkjet portfolio with the ProString. We really try to identify applications that our customers are going to be using and really also develop new applications to really showcase what we can do, in particular with some of our specialty media.
Thank you so much. John Palazzolo.
Buongiorno, Giovanni
Come stai?
Palazzolo. Bene, bene.
Giano.
Good afternoon. My name is John Palazzolo, and I'm Director of Marketing and Sales for Adfos North America. What we do is, and again, as Deb said, we dry stuff. We dry inkjet, we dry adhesives, we dry coatings, and so why am I sitting on a paper panel? Well, what we do is we enable printers, commercial printers, and people to leverage their existing technology, their inkjet technology primarily, or other types of technology by enhancing the drying. Give you an example, we just had a customer who was running some high gloss substrates, and because of the drying on their existing inkjet press, they weren't able to get the speeds that they needed in order to be profitable. So we retrofitted their press with enhanced Adfos drying technology, and they were able literally to double their speeds. So in addition to doubling the speeds on their current press that they had, now they're able to open up new markets because they can run high gloss substrates with inkjet at very, very high speeds. So now they're out going and getting new applications and things that typically they just could never do before.
Thanks so much. Trina May.
Thank you.
How awesome. I'm so glad you joined us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so happy. A native Chicago in there. Chicagoan.
That's right. The accent will come through.
Yeah,
So.
the Bears.
I'm Trina May. I'm Business Development Director of Client Marketing Services at GPA. And GPA is a specialty substrate supplier, but beyond that, we bring innovation. So we're actually looking at, we're working with customers and working with our clients to be able to bring innovative substrates and change how they print, adding value and being able to bring a solution that not only helps the end user but also grows the print service provider's business.
I completely get that within companies there are different people that have different responsibilities, and I'm saying that because no one knows the questions, and I don't know if I'm asking the right people this particular question. So if you can answer it, I think it would be appreciated, because it's come up a few times, even in conversations in the booth, about the current paper crisis. And like I said, I'm not sure if anybody up here is the right person in your company to address it, but if you are, some of the things that we've been hearing is they want to know how you're supporting your customers and how you're helping them maybe find paper or a specific stock if they're being told it's unavailable or there's a delay in delivery. Would anyone like to address that?
Sure, thanks, Deborah. So one of the things that Adfos has been doing to help our customers is obviously right now there is one of the big crunches is getting inkjet treated paper to run on some of these presses. So some of our customers are looking at doing actually inline priming of standard offset sheets.
John, can you hold the mic up a little?
Oh, sorry. Standard offset sheets themselves. So we work with a number of different coating companies to leverage our technology into primer solutions so that they don't have to, they can, if they can't get the paper,
right,
the inkjet paper they're looking for, they can go ahead and prime it themselves and run it in line with their
So you're giving
inkjet.
them a plan B?
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
And by the way, I will thank you for everybody because they're really concerned about this. Lucy?
Yeah. So another plan B, and hola, by the way, we have another native speaker.
Hola, ¿cómo está usted?
So one of the things that we do with our media program is that we do test a variety of sheets and rolls depending on the type of technology that you're leveraging, so that we do have different options, whether you're looking at an untreated sheet, an offset sheet, or a digital version of that sheet, an inkjet treated sheet, coated or uncoated, or even offset coated sheets, depending on the technology and the machine or press that you're leveraging, so that we recognize that there are challenges in the market today. We recognize that a number of mills are converting their paper machines to other types of materials like paperboard. And that some paper mills are running on allocation. But because we do have a paper program that ensures that we test a variety of papers, we can help customers identify other options that they can investigate and look at.
Thanks. Trina, and then we'll get to actually Domtar, who's a paper company.
So for GPA, we're actually not seeing an issue with supplying paper, and primarily that's because we're owned by an Italian paper mill, Fedrigoni. Beyond that, we also we have materials that are available for virtually every press platform. So if you're looking at a particular press platform and you're having an issue bringing in substrates or some specific paper for that particular platform, we likely have an option that would run on a different press platform for you as well. So, and we're also not in the GPA specifically is not necessarily distributing your conventional uncoated and coated paper for conventional offset. We're mostly in the digital arena. So
it's only an offset paper crisis, or is it a both?
We're not seeing the crisis, but primarily that's because our material is coming from Italy.
I understand. Thank you. Domtar, paper mill.
Yes, we put the emphasis on making sure our longtime customers that we built great relationships. Am I too loud? Great relationships with, are getting the paper that they need, and the ones that we are strategically aligned with. So, doing that has kept us very organized and kept us getting the customers that we have built those relationships with the paper that they need when they need it.
Okay. We always hear about printers wanting to collaborate with print customers, but I rarely have heard a discussion about how printers can collaborate with paper people. And so my question is, can they, should they, and when should they involve you in the conversation, and assuming this is not a customer-driven thing? Trina, you want to start?
From a paper perspective or a substrate perspective, we should be involved in the very beginning. From design, as far as in the beginning as you can bring us in, we have so many different options for projects, for vertical markets, for those end-use applications. And if you're talking about something that's going to run and you need a certain quantity of sheets, we can make sure that we have those available. We work with your clients to actually come up with innovative ways to help grow your business, do unique jobs, I guess, for lack of a better word, projects, taking that project to the next level, bringing that innovation into that project so that we can recommend a substrate that perhaps is going to help you grow, and it's going to target your audience better. It might be the tactile, it might be the visual, it could be the finishing or the embellishments that you're going to do on that piece, but we want to be involved in the very, very beginning.
Thank you. Ashley?
Our sales force especially are very, very involved with the printers, and even when they're onboarding their first inkjet machine for example, there's a lot of people that will go out and make sure that you have the right paper for, you know, your end use and the machine you bought. So that's something that we do quite a bit. And we also engaged with different printers on a content level when we're talking to the end users, and we make sure that the end users know the innovation in print and what some of these great printers are doing out there.
What is the path, though, Ashley? Do they have to go through their merchants, or can they? Is that who you're expecting that they're collaborating with, or can they collaborate directly with, like, you and Domtar and your, design and marketing team?
It depends on the situation, but as far as collaboration, you know, for the design and marketing, you know, we normally hear about it through our sales force, or sometimes we do hear about it through a merchant, but in any case, somebody, you know, me or one of the people on the marketing team will reach out to that person. So could be all the above, I guess.
So printers should just find their local Domtar person and say, I would like to talk to you about, you know, some of the papers that might be right for this project? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Well, like I said, I'm only a print customer. I don't know how printers do it, so it's interesting. I want to flip this question specifically for you guys in the middle there. So for Lucy, how can printers collaborate with Canon about paper and substrates? And specifically, you know, for John, as you as well, what are some considerations that printers and print customers have to keep in mind to determine which inkjet sheet is best for them?
So that's a big part. So building on what Ashley indicated, we really do work collaboratively upstream with customers that are making investments in inkjet, and really try to understand their requirements. And if we can, work with and partner with whether the customers working through a merchant or directly with the paper mills that they currently use, to really understand current state, how they're using the media, what they're printing on, what application types are being developed, and then work collaboratively with them to identify either to, one, test the media that perhaps they're using today to see if it'll work on our technology. 9 times out of 10 it does. You know, or identify alternate suggestions to consider, maybe an inkjet treated version of the same offset sheet or digital sheet that they're working on. So it's really, I think, during the sales process, as upstream as possible, and if they have a design organization within their own print environment, which many print providers do, try to engage the design element piece as upstream as possible to really understand, because designing for inkjet is a unique and very application dependent. And
right.
In fact, we have a book that really designing for inkjet gives you those tips and insights around what you need to do when you're planning to design for inkjet or transition from another print technology to inkjet to take advantage of those capabilities.
John? This is probably a big topic for you.
It is a big topic for us. And what you said about collaboration. And collaboration is key to, obviously, to success. And not only upstream, but also downstream. Obviously, in inkjet printing specifically, there's a lot that's going on with the paper. There's a lot going on with the ink, with the substrate, with the drying. Downstream, if you're converting that into a book or whatever else you're doing to it downstream. So that's where Adfos, we collaborate literally upstream and downstream. We have relationships with every major paper mill, so we work with them on what they're doing, etc. We also work with all the ink companies, the suppliers of the raw materials to the ink companies. We work with all of them. We work with all the inkjet head suppliers. We work with all the inkjet ink manufacturers. We work with all the finishing people downline. So because, again, like you said, inkjet is a different world. You're working with a conventional, maybe an offset ink that's 90% solids and 10% water, compared to the current inkjet inks, which are 90% water and 10% inks. Ink and paper, or water and paper, are not friends. So you've got to get that water off of that sheet as quickly as they're putting it down to make it right. And that happens through successful collaboration, both upstream and downstream.
Thank you so much. In the front row, wearing the antennae, is Jamie the printer from Printer, here I go again, Allegra Princeton. I can't say it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Allegra Princeton. I'm sorry, Jamie's bosses who let him come to whichever camera I'm on. Jamie sits here and he watches all the panels and he helps keep you guys honest because he's a printer and he knows if what you're saying comes true in the practical applications of things. He also knew all the panel topics and collected questions from his organization, Allegra Princeton, and from the press operators, from the people who run the software, the MIS, for the salespeople, and other sorts. With that, Jamie has a question for the panel. Oh, I might have turned it off. My apologies. Sorry, Javon.
Better? Hello, everybody. One of the questions is we're looking at new equipment, whether we're looking at inkjet, we're looking at toner-based equipment. Our pressmen are always concerned about paper, what runs in there. Some of the swatch books have been great now, saying this is run on this type of press. But should we bring the paper people in first before we make that decision on a new piece of equipment? Is this paper going to be readily available for us for the next couple of years? We need this, we use it now. So before we buy this piece of equipment, is this paper going to be around, and is it something we're going to be able to rely on?
That's a great question, because I hear the subtext of the fear. Am I going to be locked into something that might go away? Anybody? Go ahead. Ashley, just pull.
Yeah, you definitely want to look at the strength of the company that's making the paper. In Domtar's case, we're dedicated to paper. That's where our money comes from. It's 70% of our business. So we're dedicated to paper, and we are to the print industry. So we're not going anywhere.
Can Jamie call you up and the second part of his thing is about purchasing a technology? I mean, I guess what you're saying. With all due respect, Canon says it's certified on Domtar, but you're going to need to see it for yourself, I'm assuming. Yeah. He's not they're not going to believe anybody. So, I mean, it's not a dig,
No.
but you happen to be sitting here, so that's why I'm naming your companies.
So, I mean, that's a part of the process. We have evaluated media lists. We have, there are numerous papers out there in variety of coatings, treatments, weight, basis weights, and so we try to test a good breadth on each of our technologies, but really do recommend as a part of that sales process that you not only just work with the paper mills, but also bring in the sales team that you're working with, identify those applications, be upfront in relation to the papers you're using today, what's important that you keep using, test it on the applications that you're going to do, and we've got a Media Lab program in our Boca facility to be able to do that type of work for customers. Develop print samples on our technology on the papers that you're using today, and if it's not on our current media list, then we'll test it to see how it performs, and if it performs well, then we'll add it onto the list.
Ashley, and then John, I'm sure you have.
And I would also say share some of those samples with your customer just so they know what to expect, because you don't want that final surprise, So, an inkjet is quite different. So just make sure you're on the same page.
That's a great point. With their own files, not your files, their files. Test with their work.
Correct.
Great point.
And like you said, having the plan B or maybe even the plan C, obviously, papers change, chemistries change, technology changes, and so to sit there and think that a paper company is going to manufacture this paper forever, I think you're deluding yourself, because they may or they may not. So that's why have the plan B. Your plan B may be, all right, so go 2 or 3 substrates deep, and then maybe even a plan D. All right, so can I prime this inline? Can I do it myself? So that you can say, all right, so I'm going to find a commodity sheet that will be readily available for a long, long time, if not forever, and go ahead and say, okay, so if I need to inline prime that, can I do that and have that as a backup just in case they aren't able to get what you need?
Trina, you guys have a lot of funky stuff back there, so there must be a lot of people who are like, I don't want to put plastic in my press, or I don't want to put that in my press. I don't know if it works. Honestly, they must freak out a little, some of your stuff. And I'm sure that's why you have the people that you have over there to educate them and keep them calm. But how are you addressing that?
Right. So we actually have experts on staff that will come in and help you test and run and optimize the substrates on your press. So you know, we're the whole solution, so we can help you from the marketing aspect to the actual technical aspect to the identifying specific substrates or products for a particular job or client. So it's the whole gamut. We're the partner in your business from start to finish. If you're looking at a piece of equipment, I would suggest that you bring in, you know, you're not just going to want to run standard conventional offset paper. You're going to want to try to add value to that and bring a greater return on that press by using some unique other products on there. So we'll work with you from the very beginning. We work with almost all of the equipment manufacturers to make sure that our products are tested as well. So we're in it for the long haul. And, you know, there's always a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. There has to be. That's business. That's standard business operation. So, but we'll help you identify all of that.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Sorry. And I would also say when you're testing, make sure, don't just only test the printing, make sure you test the finishing and insertion and stuff like that too, because different papers, even though you can print on a lot of different stuff, you know, if you can't get it to where it needs to go, then, you know, in terms of value, that pretty much loses it. So.
And the ink, I mean, there was one time I printed something and it was blue, and then the next day it was purple, because the ink was like didn't react well to something and it changed colors. It was a very strange thing, but it's no doubt that a conversation about paper went so quickly. The half an hour is actually up. It's very topical. I want to thank the panel so much. They're all here at the show. If not, you can visit them online. This handy dandy Printiverse program has information about with their booth numbers, their websites, their Twitter information, a little bit about them. Pick one up before you leave. Thank you guys so much for your support of the Printiverse and this event. And we will be back in a few minutes with a discussion about digital packaging. So stick around. Thanks, everybody.